After the Toronto Raptors striked out on landing Damian Lillard, reports have surfaced that the team may have shifted gears and now are looking in a different direction. Another all-star point guard as Jrue Holiday potentially could get rerouted to the Toronto Raptors. So we're going to break down this report, his fit, and if it could actually potentially happen. As so many rumors, so many reports have dropped over the past summer, over the off season that just haven't come to fruition, and the Raptors are still a team that seems very imbalanced. Definitely lots of talent, definitely lots of players to be excited about, but just all the pieces still don't seem like they're the perfect fit. Maybe Darko Rajokic will surprise us, but we'll see what ends up happening. But basically, a trade could potentially still go down, at least according to Shams The Athletic. Immediately following the Damian Lillard trade, he came out on TV and said that Portland is going to be active over the next several days to find a new landing spot and rerouting Jrue Holiday to another team. Teams like the Miami Heat, Toronto Raptors, and Boston Celtics all could be potential destinations for the all-star guard, the guy that won an NBA championship with the Milwaukee Bucks, regarded as one of the top defenders in the entire NBA, and is a piece that personally I'm a massive fan of his game. Looking at his stats, right, he's a player that's not as flashy as Damian Lillard. I mean, 19 points per game, 5 rebounds, 7.5 assists is still extremely solid. Again, an all-star point guard, right, 38% from the three-point line, 48% from the field. Not your sort of number one option, so to speak, on the scoring end. You know, he's not going to be a guy you can rely upon night in, night out to be that 1A, getting you buckets, getting you, just shots late in the clock. He can do it, but he's not really relied upon as that sort of focal point option on an upper echelon playoff team. But he is most certainly one of the top guards in the NBA on the offensive end and the defensive end, and really could shore up some of the Toronto Raptors guard depth. However, the question is, as it pretty well has to be with any of these potential trades, as the Raptors really are struggling to close these deals, what the heck would it have to get done in order to make this deal happen? What would the Raptors have to give up? Because we heard the Raptors were unwilling to give away OG Anunoby in any potential Damian Lillard package. It's the reason the deal fell through. If you want more details on that, you can check out our Real Reason video that we posted yesterday, but Jrue Holiday is still a piece, sure. It might feel like he's a throw-in right now. It might feel like his value's lower because he's getting sent to the Portland Trailblazers and they're immediately trying to reroute him. So parts of your brain almost immediately think, oh, he mustn't be that valuable. He mustn't be that great of a piece if Portland's immediately trying to deal him away. However, that is most certainly not the case, as Adrian Wojnarowski basically came out and said that announced by Woj that the Trailblazers are expected to get back multiple picks and possibly a young player on a rookie contract in exchange for Jrue Holiday. And basically, that's a sort of expected market value for Jrue. And Brian Windhorst came out and said the Blazers just spent 3 months trying to squeeze together a deal for Lillard. It'll be much easier to trade Jrue Holiday, as is expected to go forward with a youth movement and focus on assembling draft capital and move him onward. Basically, Windhorst in this segment ended up going on to say that Jrue Holiday's not a player that's sort of demanding one single destination. I only want to go to the Heat. Maybe I'll accept a deal to the Bucks or the Nets or whatever we heard about Damian Lillard. Jrue Holiday seems to be more professional. He's not demanding one specific destination. He's not going to cause a bunch of headaches. He doesn't have that superstar baggage, at least not as of right now. Who knows? Maybe he'll have his list of destinations, coming in the next couple days. But as of right now, the expectation is Jrue Holiday will be willing to play for many suitors. And basically, as the Shams report indicated, the Heat and the Celtics, they've been reported in multitude of reports trying to, really get a deal going, right? We're on to really make this deal happen while Jrue Holiday is still available. I've also seen reports regarding the Sixers as well as the LA Clippers are all teams that are interested in acquiring Jrue Holiday. So the Toronto Raptors, if they're looking to make a move, if they're looking to acquire one of those guards to sort of balance the roster, to make it make more sense, because currently, as constructed, the Toronto Raptors depth chart is interesting, so to speak, because Dennis Schroeder is a piece that could potentially be a starter. I mean, what he was able to do this entire summer for Team Germany proved to me at least that sure, he's not Damian Lillard. No, he's not Jrue Holiday, but he is a guard that can be a starting guard in the NBA. But he is well regarded to be one of the most elite backups, right? That's Dennis Schroeder's sort of peak. With the Oklahoma City Thunder, with his first stint with the LA Lakers, that's where Schroeder really thrived the most in his NBA career. So, he's sort of a lower tier starter to an, absolutely amazing backup. So that's Dennis Schroeder. And then you follow to the rest of our depth chart. There's Malachi Flynn. Scotty Barnes is there as a potential point guard. We could discuss that because Darko Rajakovic has talked about putting the ball in Scotty Barnes' hands more this season. And then you have Jeff Dowtin Jr. and Marquise Noel also in the depth chart there. Now, Jeff Dowtin Jr. is a piece that currently, as the roster sits, he's the only unguaranteed guy that really Raptors fans expect could make the roster. So he's not someone that's guaranteed to even going to be on the team opening night. Marquise Noel, yes, he's a two-way player, and yes, he has lots of hype around him, at least from Raptors fans, even though he's a shorter player, right? Talks a big game in terms of being the greatest Toronto Raptor of all time. He's made those quotes multiple times over the offseason, and he showed out during Summer League. Marquise Noel looked like an absolute beast, knocking down threes, facilitating. Sure, there were some highs and lows during that Summer League run, but Marquise Noel definitely impressed a lot of Toronto Raptors fans. But right now, I don't think a lot of people would rely on him to be the backup point guard for the Toronto Raptors, at least at this point. So between Flynn, really not ever being able to get out of the doghouse, between Jeff Dowtin Jr. might not being on the roster, and then, Marquise Noel being a two-way guy at this point, there's a lot of questions in terms of our guard depth right now. So acquiring Jrue Holiday would definitely balance out the roster, but the question is, what would we sort of have to give up? And draft capital, multiple first-round picks, and young players on a rookie contract, I personally would not be that comfortable because Damian Lillard, a lot of people have been roasting him and saying, oh, he's not a ceiling raiser. He's just sort of a guy that's been mid-level in Portland. I think all that's a bit of nonsense. Damian Lillard averaged 32 points per game last season. He is an absolute certified bucket, one of the greatest shooters of all time, a top 75 player in NBA history. That dude would have, sure, will we be immediately championship contenders? Probably not. I wouldn't completely write it out, but if that deal went down, we're not in the position where we were in 2019 acquiring Kawhi Leonard. He's not that tier of guy, but he's just a couple tiers below, and Damian Lillard is a monster. Jrue Holiday is not that game-changing number one option. He's a guy that's best apt, he's a championship second or third option, the same way Pascal Siakam is a championship second or third option. Yes, if they're your lead player, if they're your one guy, they're not going to be horrible. They can make some all-star teams. Jrue Holiday made an all-star team as the number one guy for the Sixers early on in his career. He's a guy that can do it, but if you're looking to have a true contender, a top-tier team in the NBA, Jrue Holiday is best apt to be, your number two, your number three, that level of guy. So Jrue Holiday, yes, it would be amazing to insert him in this team if we didn't have to pick up, we didn't have to give anything out, if we didn't have to give anything away. But I'm not sure, especially after the Raptors have lost Fred VanVleet and we didn't make the playoffs last year. I don't think essentially this offseason, fortifying our bench a little bit and then replacing Fred VanVleet with Jrue Holiday guarantees that we're in the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference. And when you're trading away young prospects, because multiple firsts and a young guy on a rookie contract, which could be a Precious Achiuwa or a Grady Dick, that's mortgaging your future there at that point. And there's less years on Jrue Holiday's contract. He has been outspoken about being a player that says, hey, after my contract, I might be cool retiring. I might be cool moving on from the game of basketball and all that type of stuff. That is just too big of a risk for the Toronto Raptors to take. So personally, me speaking, yes, in a perfect world where we don't have to give up any assets, where we don't have to give up any guys, Jrue Holiday would be an awesome fit for the Toronto Raptors. But I don't think Masai Ujiri is going to end up getting this deal done. I don't think it makes sense for us to give up all the assets that's going to need it to be used in order to give away to acquire Jrue Holiday, right? I don't think it just makes sense for the Toronto Raptors here at this point. But let me know what you guys think. Should the Toronto Raptors go all in on acquiring Jrue Holiday? Let me know in the comment section below. You guys are the best to make it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.